One of the best ways to lift up your eyes, especially if you're having hooded eyes, is this technique right here. What is hooded eye anyway? Before anything, we do have different types of hooded eyes. As you can see, I do have extra skin sitting on top of my eyelid. However, I am not a perfect example for fully hooded eyes. But don't worry, this technique will work on you, even if you cannot see any lid space if you're looking straight in the mirror, meaning you're having fully hooded eyes. To start off with this look, today I'm using Maybelline's Anti-Age Eraser number 6 together with MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in shade NC20. To use this technique, look straight in the mirror and following your lower lash line, as I'm showing you right here, you will get a line which is your direction on how this technique will look on you. I just wanted to say this tutorial is way different than I usually do my makeup. I filmed this in a really simple steps, so it's easier for you, especially if you are a beginner. First, we're going to do outline that is totally different direction that our hooded eye is going. So we're going opposite of what our eye looks like. For that, I'm using cream eyeshadow. This one is from Huda Beauty Empowered Palette, and this will help me to give me depth and definition. Of course, you can use this with the regular eyeshadow as well, meaning you can skip this part right now. But over the years, I realized how much this step actually helps to visually make our eye appeal much more open and lifted. Also, as you can see, I'm using really tiny brush for this. Now it is time to blend everything. For that, I'm using a small pointy brush from NYX Cosmetics. And since this eyeshadow, once you blend it, it's really sheer, I went again and repeated the process. With the same brush, everything is the same. Here I'm actually kind of creating smoked out liner, but just look how much of a difference this made to my eye already. And just because you're using darker shade, don't think that's going to make your eyes look smaller. It's more about where do you put that deeper shades. It can even make your eye look bigger and much more open. Now moving to my Sigma medium sweeper brush. I'm using it to really blend these edges in so it's easier later to put an eyeshadow on top of it. To make this simple as I can, I will be starting from lighter shade first. For that, I'm using Illamasqua Unreal Palette, this shade right here. That shade goes underneath my brow and in my inner corner of my eye. Next, to create my transition shade, I used these two shades from Illamasqua and from Sigma New Mud Palette. Using NYX small blending brush, I'm starting to blending in this color underneath the lighter shade that I already used. But look at the direction. Remember the first time we made outline for the darker shade? Now I'm following that path with the lighter shade and we'll be connecting to the deepest shade later as we go towards darker eyeshadows. So just make sure to follow that direction when you're applying and blending colors. That at the end will give you this beautiful lifted elongated look in the first place. Using small bullet brush, I'm using this deep brown reddish shade to deepen up our look, but take notice where my direction is. So here I'm going on top of the first cream eyeshadow that we went. The reason for that I'm doing it now because this shade is darker. Also when the shade is darker the shade, we're having the smaller brush. With the smaller pointy brush, I am reapplying shade Confident from Empowered Palette a couple of times. I've also used a little bit bigger blending brush just to make these edges a bit softer. You can deepen up this look as much as you like. That depends on your personal preference if you do like to go for more deeper shades. I know that's weird because in general we'll think it's gonna make our eyes smaller, which actually it's not the case. Now for my lower lash line, I'm reapplying my base, and the shades that we're going to be using are primarily the shades that we used, of course, on our eyelids. Here I'm using Sigma Street Style shade on top of our cream eyeshadow that we already used. And for this, I'm using really tiny brush. Like I said, the darker the shade, the brush has to be smaller. And now I'm taking a little bit bigger brush. This one is pointy, and just to go blend this shade even more. I am going back and forth with the brushes as as I think I need, depending on what's going on with the shadows. Here I am using a bit Fix Plus for my next step, which are shimmers, but you can totally leave this as it is, just with a little bit of matte eyeshadow. But if you're going for the shiny textures, now I'm using for my Pat McGrath Beautiful Light Shimmer. This one goes underneath my eyebrow. I'm carefully connecting it with the rest of the eyeshadows. And now for my inner corner, I mixed these three eyeshadows from Sigma Mod palette and from Natasha Denona Glam palette, also reapplying this underneath my eyebrow and also into my inner corner to make it even more shiny. Now for my waterline, I'm just gonna use this in my upper waterline Ingles AMC gel eyeliners mixed number 69 and 77, just that it's not too dark. I don't want it to be extra black. Today I'm not using any eyelashes, so this will work perfectly with what I need. I'm just going to curl my eyelashes a little bit and apply some mascara. Again, this looks so weird for me. I'm not used to these types of eye looks, but again, I wanted to give much knowledge as much as I can to make it simple as I can. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about these types of tutorials. And guys, before you leave, make sure to watch this one, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you. Bye.